All right, so we're going to be making our grid for our portrait. So this has to have a key over it. Let me make sure the focus is good on this. Okay, so the key would be A, B, C, D, E, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This little box that's going to be right there won't have anything in it. So this is a 5 by 5 picture, and we're going to be blowing it up to make it a 10 by 10. This sheet of paper is 12 by 12. So to make my grid, I have to line up this little black line on my ruler with the edge of my paper, and I'm going to try to make that helps me make sure it's straight. And then I'm going to just put dots at 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. I need a correlating dot on the other end. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. I'm going to line it up, make sure it's good and even. And then I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That gives me 2 reference points so that I can align my ruler up between those 2 lines. And then lightly, ever so lightly, I'm going to make a line. And then I will do the same thing here. And the same thing here. And the reason it's good to have 2 reference points so I don't end up making my lines crooked. If I have 2 places where it connects, then I am more likely to make sure that my lines are straighter and not like tilting one way or another. All right, so once I've got it going one way, now I do the same thing again. So I'm going to come up to the top of my paper. I'm going to line up my ruler again, making sure it's as even as I can get it with that little edge going along the side here. A lot of people like to line their ruler up like against the edge like that, but that's off. So I'm making sure that little tiny line that's right there that starts with the 1 works. Right? And then I go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And I come down to the bottom, line it up again. Okay, and then I do the same thing. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Then I turn my paper this way and connect the dots. 2 dots helps me know that my line is not going to be crooked. A lot of times, you know, people will think they've got a line straight and it'll be going like that. So don't do that. Make sure it connects. Okay. And basically you're making graph paper. And it's important to make sure that this is as close to even as possible so that when we start really trying to draw each of the boxes within our portrait, it will be closer to alignment. All right. So then I've got my grid. It should match this. It's just that I have to make this outside boxes the key. So this one doesn't have anything in it. And then it goes A, B, C, D, E. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We're not drawing anything that's in the background. So when I first look at this and I'm like, okay, in box A, I'm not drawing anything. In box B, oh, I'm drawing the edge of my head. So I have to look at the relationship between the size. Look how much of that is empty space and then how much of that is my actual hair. When I start drawing, I'm drawing in pencil, but I'm drawing really lightly when I do this. That's too far out. The reason I'm drawing really lightly is because I'm going to be using colored pencil to do all the details. Don't make the mistake of like coloring and shading with pencil. It's just not, you don't need to do that. So then I would go over to the next box and I would see how it's got the split of my part there in it and how far over that comes. And notice, like, I'm so lightly drawing this. It does not need to be super detailed right now because the super detailed part is going to come when I start putting the color in. And so in this case, I would after I've got my lines drawn in and I've got, notice just how lightly my details are here. These were placeholders. It was really just to put in the like basics, because all of my detailing is done with colored pencil. I'm gonna go in and, like, after I've got that map, you know, here's the map of where my glasses are and where my hair is, and I will use that, and I'm gonna look at each part of this, and I'm really zooming in and looking at the values. The value in this is what is going to make it look the most real. So I'm gonna notice, okay, this part is really dark. I chose the colors blue and green for mine. You can choose 2 to 5 colors to do this. And you know, you can make a pattern, it can be random. Just don't make 2 next to each other the same. So a checkerboard pattern works, or if you have 3 or 4 colors, you just don't want 2 right next to each other that are the same. But when I did this box, notice how dark my hair is in there. So I had to go in and I'm overlaying and blending and burnishing with black and green for this part, black and blue for this part. But then on my skin, it's lighter. So I just barely was putting some green down and then burnishing with the white to make that come out. Obviously, the contouring takes longer on the parts that have facial features. And you really want to take your time with that and really notice the value changes. There's nothing in this part that's like pure white. It's actually a little bit of gray almost all over. So when I put in the blues here, it's a little bit of blue kind of everywhere. This part is going to take attention to detail. All right, so step 1 is to make your grid. Then you match it with the picture. And then you go step by step through each box, lightly drawing it in pencil. Then you pick your colors and start to match the values monochromatically in each box. 1 color and the tints and shades of that color per box. I can't wait to see how these turn out. I'm sure they're going to be great.